Some people drain you without ever raising their voice. Carl Jung believed the most dangerous people are often the ones who appear the safest. They smile, they help, they charm. But behind it all, they're studying you. This video reveals 6 types of people Jung warned us about. Before we begin, if this speaks to you, subscribe to Psyvoria. It helps more eyes see what most never notice. Segment 1. The one who mirrors you too perfectly. They seem like your twin soul. They nod at every opinion you share. They echo your phrases, mimic your expressions, and even mirror your fears. At first, it feels magical. You believe you found someone who truly gets you. But what Carl Jung warned us about is this. When someone mirrors you too perfectly, they're not trying to know you. They're trying to wear you. They study your emotional blueprint so they can slip into it. These people do not bond, they blend. And the reason it's dangerous is because you lower your guard. You start trusting them blindly. You tell them secrets you don't even say aloud to yourself. They make you feel safe, but that safety is fabricated. It is a disguise used to access your mind. They know when to flatter you, when to validate you, and when to trigger your deepest insecurities. And when they finally do, it feels like betrayal from your own reflection. Jung believed the psyche is vulnerable to imitation. If you want to protect your mind, don't fall for the mirror. Look for the silence between the similarities. That's where the truth hides. Because someone who truly understands you will not need to imitate you. They will challenge you, reflect you, and even disagree with you. But they will never pretend to be you. Segment 2. The manipulator. There's a kind of danger that wears a smile, a gentle voice, and the mask of virtue. Carl Jung warned us about the manipulator, the person who makes you question your own thoughts and instincts. You know them by the way they twist your words, by how they make you feel guilty for things you never did, for emotions you were right to feel. The manipulator does not attack directly. They invade subtly, like water seeping through cracks in stone. They charm you, gain your trust, and slowly rewrite your story until you no longer recognize yourself. And by the time you try to step away, you are entangled in doubt and confusion. Jung believed that manipulators are among the most dangerous because they work in shadows, never revealing their true hand until the damage is done. Protect your clarity. Guard your emotional boundaries. When someone's kindness feels like a performance, when their affection comes with confusion, step back. Because anyone who seeks to control how you feel, how you think, or how you see yourself is not trying to love you. They're trying to own you. Segment 3. The victim. They always suffer, always misunderstood, always wronged. But look closely and you will see a pattern. The victim is not a victim by accident. They use suffering like a shield. They weaponize guilt. You will notice how their stories always place them at the center of the storm, but never as the cause. They cry for help while pulling others into their emotional whirlpool. They need rescuing, but they reject solutions. They crave sympathy, but never responsibility. And when you grow tired of playing savior, they will call you cold, selfish, uncaring. The truth is, the victim drains you quietly, slowly. They make you feel like you owe them your peace just because they are in pain. Carl Jung warned about these patterns. Because the victim is not always weak. Sometimes they're the most dangerous. They can twist your kindness into obligation, your patience into submission, and your silence into agreement. If you stay too close, their suffering becomes your identity. You begin to carry their weight, their shame, their chaos. But no matter how much you carry, it is never enough. That is how you know it is time to let go. You were not born to be their crutch. You're not responsible for someone who chooses to stay broken. Segment 4. The narcissist. They do not just crave attention. They demand worship. Every room must revolve around them. Every conversation must feed their ego. They are charming at first, magnetic even, but that charm is a mask. Behind it lies a fragile self-image wrapped in arrogance. The narcissist does not want connection. They want control. They do not want love. They want validation. And if you refuse to give it, they will punish you. Not always with anger, sometimes with silence, manipulation, subtle humiliation. They will belittle your accomplishments while exaggerating theirs. They will shift blame, twist your words, and make you question your worth, all while smiling. Carl Jung understood this darkness. He saw how the narcissist projects their inner emptiness onto others, how they draw power by weakening those around them. You start shrinking to fit their needs. You silence your voice to protect their ego. But the more you give, the less they respect you. To them, kindness is weakness and loyalty is submission. The only way to win is not to play. Do not argue with them. Do not try to fix them. Just step away. Reclaim your energy. Because once you stop feeding their illusion, the spell breaks. You do not owe anyone the sacrifice of your self-respect. Segment 5. The chronic victim. They wear their suffering like a crown, and every moment with them feels like an emotional hostage situation. Nothing is ever their fault. Life is always unfair, and everyone else is to blame. At first, you may feel compassion. You may try to help, to lift them out of their misery. But over time, you realize something deeper. They do not want to be lifted. They want to pull you down. Carl Jung spoke about the shadow we all carry, the unconscious part of us that clings to pain because it gives us identity. The chronic victim lives in that shadow. They use guilt as a weapon, pity as a disguise, and helplessness as a form of control. They will drain you of your time, your energy, your joy. They're not asking for help. They're asking for a witness to their endless suffering. And if you try to grow, to heal, they will resent you for it. Because your strength reminds them of their chosen weakness. You're not cold for walking away. You are wise. You are not cruel for protecting your peace. You are finally seeing the truth. The chronic victim is not powerless. They're addicted to the illusion of powerlessness. And the only way to stay free is to stop playing the role they cast you in. Let them carry their own story. You are not responsible for someone else's refusal to rise. Segment 6. The silent saboteur. This person never attacks you openly. They smile in your presence, offer small praise, pretend to care. But behind closed doors, their words cut like blades. They twist your image, sow seeds of doubt, and slowly chip away at your reputation. They do not argue with you. They manipulate perception. They do not confront you. They whisper. Carl Jung warned that evil often wears a polite face. The silent saboteur thrives in shadows. They are threatened by your strength, your clarity, your direction. But instead of facing their insecurities, they project them onto you, hoping to weaken you without ever being seen. You begin to feel paranoid, unsure, isolated. That is their goal. They want you to doubt yourself so they can maintain control without ever raising their voice. This kind of danger is harder to detect because it hides behind civility. But the effect is just as toxic. Trust your gut. Pay attention to patterns, not promises. If someone's presence always leaves you confused or diminished, that is not friendship. That is slow destruction. You do not need proof to walk away. Your peace is the only evidence you need. Let the saboteur reveal themselves in your silence. They always do. Segment 7. The guilt trapper. This person feeds on your kindness, your empathy, your deep desire to do the right thing. They do not ask for support. They demand it. And when you hesitate, they weaponize guilt like a master craftsman. Carl Jung believed that the human shadow contains not just aggression, but also manipulation disguised as love. The guilt trapper knows how to make you feel like the villain for setting boundaries. They paint your strength as cruelty, your silence as betrayal, your independence as abandonment. But the truth is, they are terrified of losing control over you. So they chain you down with emotional blackmail, always asking more than they give, always reminding you of what you owe, but never what you deserve. You begin to shrink yourself to accommodate their pain, forgetting that you too are allowed to have needs. That is how they win. That is how you lose. Recognize this pattern. Guilt is not proof of wrongdoing. Sometimes it is proof of manipulation. You are not heartless for protecting your peace. You're not selfish for choosing distance. The real harm comes when you allow someone else's fear to shape your life. Let go of the guilt. You do not need to explain why you will not carry someone else's wounds anymore. That is not your weight. That is not your war. Segment 8. The energy vampire. This person does not need to hurt you with words or betray you with actions. They simply drain you. Every conversation feels like a battle. Every encounter leaves you exhausted. Carl Jung understood that not all wounds are visible. Some are energetic. Some people walk into your life not to add, but to consume. They take your optimism and respond with pessimism. They take your enthusiasm and return sarcasm. They see your peace as an invitation to pour their chaos into your soul. The energy vampire always has a problem, and somehow it always becomes your problem too. You try to help, but it is never enough. You give advice, they reject it. You offer support, they demand more. You walk away tired, confused, doubting yourself. That is their power, not in what they do, but in what they slowly take from you. Your time, your joy, your clarity. Jung believed that protecting your psychic space was not just a preference. It was a necessity. You must learn to recognize when someone is not healing through your presence, but feeding off your attention. Silence is your shield. Distance is your medicine. Not every soul deserves access to your light. Some come only to dim it. Let them find their own fire. You are not born to carry the weight of those who refuse to walk on their own. So now you know. These are the 8 types of people Carl Jung warned us about. Not with swords, but with shadows. They do not destroy with fists, but with silence, with guilt, with psychological decay. And if you're not awake, they will change you before you ever notice. But now, you are awake. And with awareness comes power. The power to step back. The power to cut ties. The power to protect your peace without needing permission. You do not owe loyalty to someone who poisons your mind. You do not owe kindness to someone who thrives on your confusion. And you do not owe a single explanation for walking away from what weakens you. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So make it conscious. Own your space. Choose peace over patterns. The most dangerous people lose their grip the moment you open your eyes. And now that you have, nothing can control you again. Stay sharp, stay conscious, and never hand your mind to someone who has not earned it.